Good morning, Thailand. My name is Alex, and I have some news updates from around the land of smiles for you today, this Monday, July 15th. Discover Novotel Marina Sriracha and Koh Sichang with our exclusive Stay 2 Pay 1 offer. Enjoy 2 nights for the price of 1, or book 2 rooms and pay for just 1. Available Sundays to Tuesdays with breakfast included. Book now for stays until October 31st, 2024. We're going to get started with, I'm a little late on this story, but it was all the talk over the weekend here in Thailand as a foreigner and a Thai woman got into an argument on the BTS Skytrain. So a viral video captured a heated argument between a foreign man and a Thai woman on Bangkok's famous BTS. The foreigner, frustrated by passengers blocking the door, nearly missed the train. And after boarding, he allegedly bumped into a woman and rudely asked her to move, leading to a profanity-laced exchange. Another passenger attempted to defuse the situation. Now, the incident has sparked debate online, with some criticizing the foreigner's rudeness and lack of Thai language skills, while others acknowledge the common issue of passengers crowding train doors. The Thai woman named Ja, who shared the video, empathized with both parties. Yeah, I don't know. I saw the video. The guy definitely dropped some F-bombs, which he later said, hey, that's not rude. I'm like, there's no two ways about it. It's a rude word, I think. However, his complaints about people blocking the SkyTrain doors are also a common complaint amongst Thais and foreigners, I think. And, you know, sometimes it's not even the Thais. It's like, you know, Chinese tourists. I lived in China before. So for me, the etiquette here in Thailand is peak. It's wonderful. I love it. Because in China, my God, it's a free-for-all. It's absolute insanity. So I can understand the frustration. However, we're guests in this country, right? Using English is a privilege. It can't be seen as an expectation. And if you're going to get that frustrated over things, you got to be able to communicate in the local language, I think, to make sure that, you know, your directives are not falling on deaf ears. You can't have the expectation that everyone's going to understand you. So, yeah, I don't know. Watch your language, mister, I'll say, but at the same time, yeah, we all got to take care of each other on public transport because the frustrations run high when commuting. So yeah, let cooler heads prevail. All right. Okay, so anyways, Shano says, I work in public transport and people block the doors here too. Yeah, I don't think it's a common complaint, but at the same time, no need to raise the language, no need to turn it into an altercation that's something it doesn't need to be. You know, and if this was in New York, fists would have been flying, I bet. So at the end of the day, not really that big of an incident. A little tisk-tisk to both parties. Maybe, hey, don't block the thing. Hey, maybe don't lose your cool. Let's just move on with our day and try to get back home from work, okay? That's it. Let's see, Vanilla Man says, have the Thais picked up the story about the American YouTubers Tom Yum and Rita Mac getting into a fight on the streets in Pattaya? I don't know. I haven't heard about that one yet, Vanilla Man. So if I get an update about that, I'll let you know. But I do have a story about a TikTok star. Speaking of which, now a Chinese TikTok star has been allegedly murdered in Bangkok. So Chinese TikTok star Yan Ruimin was allegedly murdered by another Chinese tourist in Bangkok on July 1st. Police found a decomposed body in the Cha Chong Sao matching the missing woman. A key suspect, another Chinese national, has fled to Hong Kong. The case, involving ransom demands and a grisly discovery, sparked rumors of crime syndicates, which police have since downplayed. Yan was last seen traveling to meet the suspect before being murdered. The suspect's movements were traced, leading to evidence of the crime. Now, Thai authorities seek his extradition for questioning. This case highlights concerns about crimes affecting Chinese tourists in Thailand. So, you know, this is one of the things that gets played up in propaganda all the time in China, is that Thailand is a little less than safe. However, it seems a lot of these crimes and these murders happen to be Chinese on Chinese, as the main suspect is a Chinese national who has since fled to Hong Kong. Also, a TikTok star, right? She had a name, she had a following, so pretty devastating stuff for her fans and her friends and family who are having to find out this news. She was missing for a little while, and now it's her body is found, her remains have been found. So hopefully they can track down this guy, bring him in, and bring him to justice, because these kind of news stories, like this, is going to severely impact Chinese tourism numbers here to the Land of Smiles. That's something that Thai people cannot afford, right? It's kind of the lifeblood of the tourism economy. Sure, the Farangs come here in droves as well, but China is still one of the top countries coming into the Land of Smiles, and news stories like this are going to make people a little more skittish. So it's important that the Royal Thai Police can stay on top of this, bring the man to justice, and tell everybody what the hell happened, because it's pretty unsettling stuff. Anyways, let's move on to our next story. This one's a little bit of a funny one, I gotta tell you. Now, a man has tampered with his passport in order to hide his trips to Thailand from his wife. Now, a man, Kun Tushar, was detained at Mumbai International Airport for tampering with 12 pages of his passport to hide previous trips to Thailand from his wife. Tisk tisk. Immigration officials discovered the tampered pages as Pawar attempted to board a flight to Thailand for an official trip. Pawar, who confessed to concealing his travel records to avoid marital confrontation, was arrested by Sahar police and charged under the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita 318 and the Indian Passport Act. He is currently in judicial custody, awaiting a bail hearing as the investigation continues. Shame, shame. That's funny. You can't mess with your official documents like that, man. And pretty interesting. This is a trust. It's the name of the game, man. If you're gonna have a relationship with somebody, it's got to be built on trust. So this guy, I don't know, make a decoy passport or something, because if you're trying to use your official documentation to cross borders and keep that as a secret from your wife, well, that tampering is a crime, and all of a sudden you're paying the punishment, and what you were trying to keep a secret has now become big international news. Tough one. I don't think this guy is going to be doing too much hard time, but certainly his wife is going to be finding out about this, and I imagine the punishment at home will outweigh anything he'll be dealing with from official blowback. So, boys, just be honest with your wives, guys. I know that's easier said than done, but makes me wonder what he was getting up to on these trips to the Land of Smiles. A little too much fun. Shano says Padia, I'm guessing. Yeah. Could be. 12 trips. That's a lot. So you got to be wondering, all right, where's he going? Like, he must have had some stories lined up for his wife, but now that's a little, the cat's out of the bag. So poor guy, poor woman. Like I said, just be honest with your partners, and you can avoid a lot of these troubles. Let's see. Vanilla Man says, or not get married. Always an option as well. I think, especially if you know the older expats here in Thailand, plenty of people on their third or fourth marriage, maybe getting a little jaded with the whole concept of the institution itself. Mojo says, pretty sure this guy has a second bank account his wife doesn't know about as well. All right. Probably. Who knows? The man is going to be definitely be facing some frying pans and shoes when he gets back home. Let's see. Mandalay says, so far I had 21 trips, but I have nothing to hide. Good. There you go. That's me. That's me too, man. When I come to the Land of Smiles, well, I live here now, but it's a lot easier when you don't need to worry about keeping secrets from the people that, supposedly trust you. So let's not betray trust, guys. Let's all treat our significant others with the respect they deserve. Look at me on my high horse. All right, anyways, let's move on to our next story. We've been talking about cannabis a lot lately, as the policy seems to be doing a 180. However, the cannabis rollback has caused a major rift in Thailand's ruling coalition. So the Pheu Thai Party's push to reclassify cannabis as a narcotic in Thailand has created a rift with its coalition partner, Bum Jai Thai, which spearheaded its decriminalization. The Ministry of Public Health recommended placing cannabis back on the Category 5 controlled substances list following a public hearing with 80% support for the reclassification. This move, based on perceived negative impacts, contrasts with the Bum Jai Thai's view of cannabis as beneficial for wellness and economic growth. Bum Jai Thai leader Kun Anutin opposes the reclassification, arguing it could harm investor confidence and economic progress. The issue remains contentious, with industry stakeholders protesting and advocating for further research on the plant. Come on. further research. Let's get over this, guys. Like, something about that 80%, I'm not sure about, if people even know what they're talking about, right? Or even know what they're giving their opinion on, other than like, I don't like the smell. Like, come on, like the people that don't consume cannabis maybe are not really experiencing any of the benefits from it, but how is it actually negatively impacting Thai society? I think that ends up being the real question. We can see very visibly the positive impacts in terms of job growth, propping up commercial real estate values, the farmers that have switched their crops in order to create this new cash crop, particularly in Isan and in the Northeast. I think we can obviously see the benefits there. Anybody who consumes for medical purposes, for sleep, for appetite inducing, for mental health wellness, there's all sorts of benefits. The research is in, and that's why the dominoes are falling around the world. Good to see some of the leadership, Deputy Prime Minister Anutin coming out strongly opposing the reclassification. And Bum Jai Thai is part of that ruling coalition, so their votes matter in terms of pushing policy forward. So if Bum Jai Thai opposes this, that creates a spearhead for the advocates to, pursue keeping it in its current classification status. Let us know what you think the future of cannabis holds here in the land of smiles. Otherwise, we might see a shift in things coming January 1st. All right. Hello, everybody. TJMCD. Oops. I'm not sure where you're oopsing. Shano says they should not backflip up on the topic. Keep it up and keep it running. Agreed completely. Here at the Thaiger, we're a pretty pro-canna publication, especially because we do a lot of work with them. We've done charity work with them. I'll be actually doing, I got to plug my charity comedy show coming up this Friday at Royal Queen Seeds. We'll be doing a comedy show at a cannabis dispensary where we will be raising money for the Bangkok Community Help Foundation. We do this at least once a month, so there's plenty of good positive aspects about the industry that I like to try to highlight. And yeah, if you're in town, please do come check it out. Zach Chris says, just regulate cannabis like alcohol, it will be okay. Cosmic Temple vibes in the house. Gotta love it. Down in Phuket, wonderful store. Agreed completely. In the rollout of this policy, one of the big issues was they did not place a specific tax on it, right? So the taxation of cannabis is now just a value-added tax, like pretty much every consumer good. There is no specific tax on it the way that there is for alcohol and tobacco. So this is a big way that the government is missing out on a ton of revenue. So I think a shift in the taxation policy might make a lot of people happier, as the government is now getting their big old cut, and then that could be used for, public benefit, create education programs, fill in the potholes, whatever. I mean, we've seen it a million times in America. There's plenty of statewide examples of this just having nothing but benefits, especially when your country is dealing with other drug epidemics like opioids in America. Here in Thailand, it's amphetamines are a big problem. Yaba, if you know about it. Anywhere cannabis becomes legalized, the consumption of other drugs goes down. So it's also that trade-off as well that needs to be considered. All right. Yes, hi. Whoa, how you doing? So, let's see. Hi, singing my car. How's everyone going today? Oh, yes, and Tyner's reminded me, please do fill out the survey a little bit later, guys. That would be wonderful. Oh, Mandalay says, survey looks more like to promote SurveyMonkey than Thaiger. Keeps answering the questions, but never gets a submit button. Okay, we'll look into that. See if we can fix that. Trust me, we are just trying to promote ourselves, Mandalay. Vanilla Man in America says, focusing on cannabis when there is a huge problem with ice is mind-boggling. Agreed completely. Ice, of course, is methamphetamine. For anybody who's not familiar with the slang, the lingo. All right, moving on. Speaking of, ice is an Aussie term, but we're going back down under to New Zealand. Now, a few months ago, some Kiwi brothers that were jailed in Thailand are now set to return to New Zealand. So, Kiwi brothers Hamish and Matson Day, age 36 and 38, were jailed in Thailand following a roadside altercation with police in Phuket. They were arrested in March on charges including robbery and obstruction of police duty. A widely shared video showed Matson grappling with an officer while Hamish held the officer's firearm. The brothers were accused of speeding and refusing to cooperate. Now, they spent nearly 4 months in prison before returning to New Zealand. The Day family expressed gratitude for the support received and requested privacy as the brothers readjust. The incident highlighted the severe conditions in Thai prisons and the family's distress during the ordeal. However, I mean, like, you do the crime, you might have to do the time, everybody. Let's see, because the video was pretty damning, right? You got one guy wrestling a police officer to the ground, the other guy pulling out his firearm. Imagine the fear in the mind of the police officer in that situation. Fortunately, nothing escalated too seriously. Nobody was seriously injured or anything like that. And 4 months in Thai prison, that's going to be a big perspective shifter, I imagine. There's something that happens here with Farangs coming to Thailand. The expats that live here, I feel, have a better sense of respect. But many people who come here traveling, they just go, too big for their britches. They think their money goes too far or something like that. They can get away with doing whatever they like. So it's an important reminder that, no, you cannot wrestle police to the ground here in Thailand. You should listen to their orders and follow their directives. They are back home now, so that harrowing tale is coming to an end for them. Somewhere says, only 4 months, huh? Sarah Fan says, F around and find out. Yeah, F-A-F-W. F-O. FAFO, that is. I'm mixing up my acronyms. Yeah, I just wanted to give you an update on that because last I heard they were arrested and in jail. Now they are free. What do you guys think about, did the punishment match the crime? I don't like throwing the book too hard at people when, especially when nothing serious, no grievous injuries were accrued. But, for some people, this is for many people, for Thai society, I think this is a good example to show that, hey, when you're here, be respectful. Otherwise, you will go to jail. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Vanilla Man in America says, if you do some dumb stuff like that, you should have some jail time coming when you return to your home country. Hey, that could also be said, too. It's one of those weird things where, this has happened many times with drug smugglers and things like that. The punishments in Southeast Asian countries can be a little more severe than what they would be facing in their home countries. However, it's not about where you come from, it's about where you commit the crime. So, yes. Somewhere says, imagine if you grabbed a policeman's gun in the U.S. Yeah, that's suicide by cop in America. So, another interesting aspect to, give kudos to the Thai police. Much better at de-escalating situations than I think many other police forces around the world. All right, anyways, moving on. Now, our last story for Thailand, I got a feel good for you. Now, a Thai woman in the UK has won a 9 billion baht payout from a bet. That's right, Araya Curry, a 40-year-old Thai woman living in the UK, won about 200,000 pounds, or approximately 9 million baht, from a £1 bet on the Nifty 50 game through Betfred. This win has transformed her life, allowing her to leave her 14-hour workdays behind and return to Thailand to live her dream life. Araya, who worked as a cleaner and waitress, and her husband Andy, a former firefighter, are now building a 6-bedroom house in Thailand, fast-tracking their 10-year plan. Betfred CEO Fred Dunn was invited to visit their new home, with Dunn praising Araya as a deserving winner. That's always nice, isn't it? Like, especially when someone deserving ends up with these big old payouts. A £1 bet, £1 bet, turns into 200,000 pounds. The woman was shocked that that was even possible, that such a big payout could come from such a small bet. But, come on, that's life-changing money, especially when you take it over to Thailand. So she's starting her new dream life, and I just say kudos to her, congratulations, and enjoy. Working 14 hours a day, waitressing and cleaning, my God, she's put in her dues. I think she has earned that payday. Okay, on to our ASEAN section of the news. Now, we got some harrowing stuff coming out of Vietnam. So Vietnamese landslides have killed 11 after heavy rains. So torrential rains in northern Vietnam triggered landslides on July 13th, burying a 16-seater van and killing at least 11 people inside, with several others missing. Rescue teams in Ha Giang province have found 11 dead and 4 injured. The exact number of van occupants is unknown, complicating search efforts. Now, Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh directed authorities to manage the disaster and prepare for more floods and landslides. The region received 280 millimeters of rain in 24 hours, with warnings for further flash floods and landslides. Vietnam, prone to natural disasters, saw 389 deaths and 668 injuries from such events last year. Terrifying stuff. And tis the season right now. Like, we just did a story coming out of Indonesia where a landslide at an illegal mining operation killed more than 20 over there. Now we have 11 in Vietnam. This is not the last time we will be telling this story. So it's very important to pay attention to the inclement weather reports and see, all right, first of all, is the rain going to be severe? Because then you're going to be dealing with floods, potentially. But more than that, are you traveling into rural areas where the infrastructure is, subpar, where the land can be shifting? So these landslides, what a terrifying way to go. Hearts go out to the families affected by this, and hopefully they can recover, some survivors. But always doubtful, man. Getting buried alive is not a way that you want to go. So make sure when that rain is coming down and you're in some mountainous areas to be careful. As soon as you start seeing rocks start sliding by, might be time to pump the brakes and head the other way. No travel destination is worth your life. So be careful, everybody. Shano says, Southeast Asian rain, such a disaster. I mean, this is our natural disasters here, right? I just saw twisters, so that happens. That's Tornado Alley. You got that in America. Where I'm from in Florida, hurricanes, big problem. Here in Southeast Asia, it is the rains, man. It's the rains and the landslides that end up being the big natural disasters that end up claiming lives, and the flash flooding as well. So be careful, everybody. Stay dry and stay safe. Now, on to our next story. We're heading over to Burma, Myanmar. Now, the Myanmar resistance has captured a strategic town near Mandalay. So, anti-junta forces in Myanmar captured the strategic town of Nang Keo near Mandalay, bolstering their position against the junta. The coordinated offensive involving the People's Defense Forces and Mandalay and the Three Brotherhood Alliance seized significant weaponry and ammunition, including a multi-rocket launcher. The capture disrupts the junta's supply routes and trade with China. Resistance spokespersons emphasize the strategic military value and potential power shift. The Myanmar junta has not officially addressed these losses, but claimed civilian casualties in nearby battles. The operation marks a significant advancement for the resistance, enhancing their military capabilities. Yeah, the war rages on over in Myanmar, and the junta forces, bolstered by Chinese supply lines, are now receiving some interruptions. This is a strategic location that had a weapons cache. So this will bolster the anti-military forces in that region. Now, what's interesting is we're still in a situation in Myanmar where all of these different factions are fighting together in an enemy of my enemy is my friend political agreement. Now, what happens if the junta falls and the different factions are able to take power in Myanmar and start controlling the infrastructure and policy? How will that play out is the big question. When this dust settles, who really will take the reins of power over there? I mean, we've seen it plenty of times in the Middle East and then other parts of the world where the power vacuum leads to more conflict. So hopefully this civil conflict can come to a close soon. Right now, there's still plenty of refugees flooding over the border into Thailand. And with those refugees are coming, also crime as well, drug smuggling too. So the sooner this gets resolved, the better it is for everybody in the region. All right, now moving on to our last story, and I'm sorry I still have another bummer for you. We're heading over to Malaysia. The Malayan tiger is nearing extinction amid recent deaths spate. So the Malayan tiger, native to peninsular Malaysia, faces a national emergency with fewer than 150 left in the wild due to habitat loss, poaching, and prey decline. Recent deaths, including tigers found in Kelantan, Perak, and Pahang, have intensified concerns. Conservationists stress the urgency of enhanced patrols, advanced monitoring, and public commitment. The Malayan tiger, recognized as a subspecies in 2004, is critically endangered. Malaysia's 2020 8-year National Tiger Conservation Action Plan aims to safeguard the species through coordinated actions. Conservationists call for stronger effort to prevent the species' extinction. This sucks. One of the habitat invasion. That's human, right? Like, what else do we have? Prey decline. That's human. And of course, poaching. That's human as well. Biodiversity is an incredibly important aspect of, the world that we share with other life forms. And biodiversity is not only, it's not just like a nice, ooh, warm, feel good, we're saving the environment. It has real benefits for humanity. Like there's so much of our medicine that comes from different species and, different discoveries that happen in nature. So, the preservation is very self-interested as well. And it's just, the poaching thing sucks, man. Like, I remember living in China and seeing all sorts of don't consume rhino horn, don't consume elephant tusks. Like, this is a big aspect. There's still demand for these things. I would see fake tiger skins on display all the time because people want the real ones. And God only knows where these poachers end up selling their products to. I mean, we do know, mostly to East Asia. Like we're looking at Vietnam and China. This happens a lot. But as long as that demand is there, people will try to supply. And it's a big problem in Africa and, of course, here in Southeast Asia. So hopefully the conservationists and the government can get their act together in order to protect the habitats of these endangered species, and hopefully they can make a comeback. At the very least, there should be some controlled efforts within, zoos and something like that in order to try and boost the population in some kind of way. But we'll see. Yeah, Shano Traveler says, less than 150 left. Oh, my God. That's something that always surprises me, man. When you hear about endangered species, you're like, okay, what are we talking? A few thousand, whatever, tens of thousands. So what comes to mind, we're talking hundreds, less than 100. If you look at the rhino populations, my God, it's dwindling. They all know each other by name at this point. So, so we got to get our act together and get rid of these poachers, man, because as long as there's a demand, people will risk their lives. These poachers, they're putting their lives on the line because the money's talking. So, we need a culture shift on that one. All right. Anyways, that'll do it for our news stories today, guys. You can always go to thetiger.com for more stories throughout the day. We have plenty of updates for you every single day. Also, please do join us on ASEAN Now, the largest expat forum here in the Land of Smiles and growing around the entire region. Now, I think between the two websites, we're at about 5 million strong in our user base there, not including all of our lovely people here on YouTube right now and across our social media platforms. So the conversation is growing, and we would love for you to be a part of it. Also, please do check out that survey. I'm going to check and make sure there's no hiccups on it. Hopefully, Mandalay's the only one having issues there, but let me know if there are, and we'll fix that.